Wales show and tell, first one of the new academic year. The general format of these events is we have a set of short talks, which is like the tell bit, and then we break for pizza and so on in the think tank after about half an hour's worth of talks. Then we come back in here for more talks. Tell bit. And we break for. I'm echoing from the internet. We've had a slight hiccup in the delivery, and the pizza's just arrived already. So we're going to have one talk, and then we're going to go for pizza. So then we'll come back in here for the rest of the talk. So the plan has already been thrown away. In the pizza area in the think tank, we've also got what we call shows, like displays of stuff. And I've been asked to give a special shout out to Aberystwyth Robotics Club, who've got a stand there and who are looking for student volunteers. So if you're a student and you're free on Wednesday afternoons and you fancy helping school kids play with robots, talk to the Aberystwyth Robot Club people, and they'll talk to you about how you can sign up and get yourself DBS checked and on the official STEM volunteers register. And looks very good on the CV, hugely fun. Bunch of 11-year-olds building things and using soldering irons. What could possibly go wrong? So before the pizza gets cold, I'm going to hand over to Chris, who is talk number 1. Yes?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Great. I'm between people and the pizza. So I need to be here so people can see me, do I? Or can I go
yes,
wherever I want?
You could do this thing, you could dance in front of the thing.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So I'm actually giving 2 short talks. The first is about having to make a space in the Institute, and the second is about the Dyson hack. I was going to give the Dyson hack, but I said, let's say something about the makerspace. So let's get that out of the way first. So I felt that we should have, and other people have worked on it elsewhere, a space where our students can do cool stuff. So Colin there is working on this at a much bigger level, an Aberystwyth level, and a makerspace where anybody can do cool stuff. But at the moment, I was just worrying about our students. As we said, what kind of stuff do you want to be able to do? We want to be able to do 3D printing, laser cutting. I seem to be the only person who's excited by vinyl cutting. But there you go. You can stick stickers on things. It's great. And then you need to be able to do hand tool work. So you can do electrical stuff, and then you can make boxes and things to put it in, is the idea of this. If what you want to do is dig great big chunks out of bits of metal at odd angles, then that kind of kit is elsewhere and under much more supervision than this kit. Although the 3D, the laser cutting, you can probably set the building on fire, so we are slightly concerned. So over the summer, we have bought several bits of kit. The first one is this laser cutter. These things along the side here, these things with holes in, are sheets of plastic from which bits have been cut by Tom, I'm guessing, in order to go on kit that Mark is taking to Zambia.
I think you'll see outside in that.
Excellent. Show them what the bits are. What you also can see here is exactly what we don't want. They've taken the workspace and turned it into a shit pit. This is days after he did it. This is not when he did it. He's just left all the crap around. And that's one sort of thing that if lots of us are using it, we're not going to be able to do that. We've got to be much more tidy.
His card doesn't work now.
That's it, he's out. So that laser cut is fitted, just about. Then we've got a 3D printer. We bought this at the start of the summer. It's been in the staff room ever since, and it's been on almost constant printing. One thing we've learned from this is we don't need to worry about paying for the 3D materials for you, because it's too hard to spend enough and it costs serious money. So we are going to provide the 3D printing material, and probably the biggest challenge will be how we queue different people's prints in order for you to be able to use this. That's making a 3D Voronoi bunny, which is the most popular design that we have made. The Stanford bunny, is it? And over here, this is the vinyl cutter, and it's doing really pretty things. And you're going to need one of those, I promise you. When you've made your kit and you want it to look pretty, this is what you want. You'll thank me.
I saw it on the table. I didn't know
Yeah,
what it was.
it's a vinyl cutter, Jim. Have you thought of any uses yet?
No.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
So it isn't actually ready for you all to have a go at it yet, sadly. And the first thing he's doing is solder lock, and David's done that. Yes, that means that none of you can now get in the room. But when we've trained you, you will then be added to the set of people that can get into this room. So, especially for the laser cutter has got a dongle, and you go, oh, that's going to go. So you can't have it going on different people's machines. We will have a PC in there, which is where you do the laser cutting from, where you do the 3D printing from, and it will be set up right. And we've got the PC, and we're going to start doing it next week. At the moment, we dangle the great big fume thing out the window, and there is a hole in the window, which is where it will go. And Dave's working on getting.
Well, there is a job in the system, and it just hasn't happened.
He's working on it. It hasn't happened yet, but that I think would need to happen before we let you lot loose on the 3D printer. Right. That's easy. We just do it when they're not 3D printed. And finally, we need to train you and add you to the access list. Okay. So once we've got all those things done, we will start training people, and you will be able to go in that room, use the Salto. Work on stuff, on your own stuff, do laser cutting. You will need to, laser cutting, you need to provide the materials, because I calculated there that probably you could buy kind of 100 quid worth of materials and cut it all up in about an hour. So there's no way we're giving you enough plastic to do that with. Don't do it with PVC, it kills you. That's one of the things you will learn when we're training you. Chlorine, not a good thing. So if you're interested in this, there is a Google form. That is the link to it. I'm sure that Neil will tweet it, because he's that kind of a guy.
Long enough.
And register that you want to. It asks you for your name, your email, and probably what year you're in. And when people have started registering, then we will then train them in. Take a bunch of people and train them in the first 10 that are on the list and gradually work through it. Any quick comment? Where I'm between you and Peter, and I'm going to talk about that. Any quick comments or questions on that? Yes.
Does laser cutter do thin plywood?
Does which cutter?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, and one of the things that we will say is you cannot leave the room while the laser cutting is happening. Because we don't set fire to the building. And other rules will be things like you can't make toast with the laser cutter. That's not true. You can make a toast. Maybe what we should do is do it once. We'll all look. Maybe we'll do it a show and tell, and then we'll move on from there. Okay. So no toasting your sandwiches in there.
I think they've fitted smoke detectors in all the rooms as well. So
well, that's it. Well, yeah,
really
but the laser cutter anyway is going to be a problem with that. It's got the extra, so I think we'll be all right. So if you're interested in getting onto this, register and you'll be on the list. Colin,
what the access hour is going to be?
that is a good. I mean, essentially, you've got to be able to access that building anyway. So it probably is
basically only when porters are on duty.
So that's till 8 PM.
8 in the morning till 7:30, 7:45, depending on when they go around and just check that the rooms are empty. No later than 8.
And
in the run up to 8.
No weekend.
Well, probably Saturday morning it's probably open, isn't it?
No physical time.
Oh, isn't it? Okay.
So I don't, I mean, if things like that are needed, the trouble is you've got to then pay for porter out. But the thought of those machines running when there is nobody else around, should anything go wrong, is just.
Essentially, all this kit we've already got elsewhere in the building. What we're trying to do is make sets of it available for students to do stuff. So that's the first thing I want to tell you about. The second thing I want to tell you about is what happened in early September. Neil Taylor and I run IOS Dev UK, which is the UK's premium IOS development conference. We get about 200 developers. This is year 6 this year. 200 developers a year from around the world coming to Aberystwyth to share stuff about iPhones. And actually, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, tell me next year. We're very happy to let students come along if they're around and are interested in this stuff. So every year we've done a hack. And we've done things like a year ago it was the iPhone, the Apple Watch was new, so we told people about programming Apple Watches and we saw what kind of interesting games people could make. Answer: none. Interesting, but we made games, but they weren't interesting. This year, one of our support, we get people who give us money for the conference, and one of the people was Dyson. Dyson have a big research centre in somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Wiltshire. Near Bath, he says. It's Wiltshire. And they said they wanted to run the hack race. We said, great, what are you going to do? And the answer is they make this thing, which is it's called something like the 360i. And it's called that because on the top here, it has a 360-degree camera. It's almost like a really cheap version of one of the Pioneers that the department has. So it's got this 360-degree camera on the top. It talks to your phone, but not to drive it, but to kind of to set it up. And it's got wheels. So this is kind of an interesting device. And the people at Dyson who do software went, oh, we could kind of make a hack interface to that, an API to this, and get people to do robot wars with it. and they said this to the people who make the hardware, and the robotics people said, oh, you can't possibly do that. They said, oh, we've already done it. Because we're software people and we do that kind of stuff. And so eventually they got permission to run this. They brought about a dozen of these along. They brought 10 Dyson employees and a film crew of 3. I haven't seen any of the film they made. I've only got amateur film, but I'll show you a bit of that in a minute. And about 50 people in teams of 4 or 5 got together and used this interface to, essentially you're using it to make not a robot, not really an intelligent robot, but a remote device. So it's like you're not there, you can see what the camera does, and you've got to interpret it, because it's originally this 360-degree picture, which doesn't seem to make any sense at all. And then you have on your phone, so you see that on your phone, and then you have controls that move it for you. So everybody essentially built that during the time. They made a special thing that fits on the front, a trident with 3 prongs, and they fitted balloons on the back. So it wasn't, they couldn't bring themselves to destroy their stuff, but what it was that you had to pop the other people's balloons and not have yours popped. That's nice and easy, isn't it? So here's actually in this room, you can see the carpet. People trying out driving one of these things around while they can actually see it, not via the remote interface, which is why it looks quite so confident. So that's without the spikes on the front and a program in really bad socks at the top. So Jen Barrett, who was one of our speakers, said, spikes on the front, balloon on the back, time to do battle. So here you can see there, well, you can almost see there are these 3 spikes here. So it's like that, and it's going to poke at the other ones, and there's the balloon at the back. So she's in one of the teams. Up in the Arts Centre, in the Round Theatre, they really took this very seriously, because we just kind of get people together. They built an arena. So they designed it, and then brought it along, and with aluminium and cardboard or whatever, built this arena. And then we've got screens so you can see what people have, what the drivers can see on their phone, so you can see what other people are seeing. So this is somebody's phone being shown on that big screen, and they've got controls here and here, and that's the picture. Now that's not a great picture, which somewhat explains why some of the driving later on is a bit dodgy, okay? Because they haven't done enough work with processing this video to make it happen. So this is the semi-final, because that was the best bit of film that I could find. There were actually, I think we're down to, there were 3 in the first set of playoffs, and we're down to 2 here. And we haven't even seen the second one yet. Oh, here is his nemesis. Hurrah! It does get more exciting, no, really. And actually, while you were there, it got kind of strangely, it was telling you, oh, who's going to win? Occasionally, it reminded me of the behavior of baboons. Why are you showing him your ass? And I think what actually was happening, it's about latency, that some of this stuff is done on web calls, and you do the kind of driving, and then you kind of keep driving past it, and then instead of you trying to spike them, suddenly you're the one who's in the way to be spiked. So it had a kind of a random feel about it in places. Oh. So yeah, we got to the end. I wasn't quite sure that the best one had won, but actually that wasn't the way they did it. The way in which they did it, they had marks for where you came in the tournament, bonuses for particular things that teams could do in making their system work, bonuses for the UI that they gave, and then a total. And actually, it wasn't the team that won the final that won the hack, because they'd kind of been lucky, I think. So it was actually one of these teams here. Oh, did they draw? Yeah, it would be one of the. I don't know how they decided on the final winner, because there were 2 there, but essentially they did. And we used to give solar-powered meerkats as gifts in our, don't ask, in our hacks, and they gave drones and things. You go, oh no, I don't know what we're going to do next year, because it's never going to be, it's not going to be as exciting as this year's hack, and the prizes are going to be rubbish. But this year's hack really was worth being at. Do you think, Neil?
It was excellent. It was, yeah, best hack ever. It says.
Yeah, it must be true. It's on Twitter. Thank you very much. Let's have Peter.
Excellent. Before everyone goes to pizza, we should be ready. Little pieces of little post-it notes that everybody's got. We've got a prize for the best thing today, and if you decide who's got the best thing, give them a post-it note, and we'll count them up at the end, and they get a raspberry pie. Which traditionally always goes to Selborne. I don't know why.
They need to
Just give
because they roll their raspberry pie.
Pizza should be there. So,
Are you able to get